Okay, welcome back to BoxPred. Just briefly, I want to just basically congratulate Darren Barker. Absolutely fantastic. I'm over the moon for him. This is brilliant news. Him winning the fight on the weekend, actually becoming world champion. Um, it's just fantastic news. It's great for him. Everyone said, you saw in the build-up and the coverage of the fight, that he really deserved it. He's been through a lot, and he's fought through, and he's finally got there. This was, if he was going to do it, this was the fight he would have to win. I think Geale is the easier of the options in the division. I do actually rate Geale. You've seen my previous videos of him covering his fights, and I actually think Geale's a very good fighter. And he's a difficult guy to beat. It's not an easy fight by any means, because this division is so packed with talent that any of the guys you're going to fight for the title are going to be tough fights, and Geale's no exception. But I think this was the one that it was a smart choice to be able to put yourself in position to get to Geale and to have this opportunity. And I'm just thrilled that Darren Barker was able to complete it and to do it. Again, I didn't do a video for this fight, as you know. But again, I will be fully honest with you. I did mention on Twitter to someone, I said that if I had to pick, I'd probably go with Geale, because perhaps he'd be a bit more tenacious and maybe a little bit too strong for Barker. Particularly down the stretch, as many people thought. Later in the fight, Geale would come on strong. But I also did say that Barker, if he's on his game and he fights to his best of his ability, he's definitely got the skills to win the fight, and that is exactly what proved to happen. Barker went in there, he showed some skill, but at the same time, what really impressed me and many others I know is the fact that Darren Barker showed fight and courage. He showed that he can go in the trenches and he can actually dig out a win, because that wasn't really a clean-cut fight, was it? It wasn't really a boxing masterclass or anything. He wasn't from range. He wasn't using the jab, using his stick, dropping his hands low, keeping a distance. Not like a Sergio Martinez type fight. We know Barker can kind of do that type of thing, because he is quite a slick fighter and he is more of a boxer than a brawler. But I think he showed in this fight that he can dig deep. You can actually go in, get up close, fight sort of an inside fight with the guy, and actually come out on top. It was a close fight. Geale obviously knocked Barker down, caught him with a lovely shot. Geale has that ability. But I thought Barker came out just on top, because I think that he was taking more control of the fight. He was taking more of a front foot in the fight. I think he was pushing it more. I think he was being aggressive like he needed to be. And I think he was catching Geale with better punches in the exchange. He was just getting to the punches quicker than Geale. I think he was he was getting off quicker than Geale, and I think that he started with the tempo, and he went on with that tempo throughout the fight. Even after getting dropped, he came back strong. He fought back. He really showed an iron will and a heart. I think that's what we all like to see, and it's something that we hadn't really seen in Barker that much before the weekend. But he really pulled out all the stops to win that world title, and I think he thoroughly deserved it. So brilliant news for him. Moving forward, personally, I wouldn't mind seeing a rematch. I thought it was a good fight. I wouldn't mind seeing a rematch in the UK. For Barker to enjoy another good night in the UK. It'd be another tough fight, because Geale could come back even stronger. He knows now what he maybe has to do. That would really create a really tough fight, I think. He'll know he can hurt Barker. I just think it would be a good fight. Other fights out there, obviously we got Martin Murray and Matthew Macklin in the mix, and Andy Lee also. They'll be good fights for Darren Barker. We like to see these UK fights happening, bring some of the middleweight division back over here and give us some great fights to watch. People were mentioning, I think Johnny Nelson said on Sky, that maybe Darren Barker will say, he's won a world title, you just call it a day. That would be a possibility, but then also there's a lot of big fights out there for him to earn money. There's at least another big money fight out there for him. Wherever he has it, he's got a world title now, so he can get a lot of money from his next fight. Particularly if he fought, like Martin Murray or someone, he'd probably get a good gate for that. Get a lot of viewers, fill out a decent sized arena for that. Get a lot of publicity. I think he'd earn a lot of money off that. Even if it's only the one and he loses his title in his first defence. I mean, because there's no easy fights out there, to be honest, for Barker. If he lost in his first defence, at least he's made a bit of money off it. And you might as well go out and have at least one more fight and make one more fight's money, rather than stepping down now with just the money you have. You might as well utilise that world champion status and get a bit more money while you can. I'm not trying to write Barker off here saying he would lose his next fight. I'm just saying that there's always that possibility, because of the in-depth division that he's in and the difficulty difficult opposition he has. They're all really tough fights. But yeah, that rematch with Geale could work. and I'm not sure what he'll do. He'll probably take a bit of time off for a bit to recover, because he's had injuries in the past, and it looks like that fight was quite grueling. But I hope to see him back in the ring soon, defending that title. I'd like to, obviously hope I would guess to be in the UK, get a lot of his fans out. He had a good support over there in Atlantic City this weekend, and I'm expecting, he'd have a big support if he had a fight in the UK, particularly if he had a guy coming from overseas like Geale, or Felix Sturm, who's been thrown into the mix, I believe, as well. If they came over to the UK, that would be good, because he'd have a lot of support on his side, and it would be a big night for Darren Barker, and sort of a homecoming, a big success story in his own country, where he can get full support. But all in all, to conclude, just really happy for Darren Barker. You know that I like the guy. I've said in the past, I actually think he's a really good boxer, and injuries have plagued him, outside factors have plagued him. He's not had the best of luck, but he's done it. He's made it, and he owned it on the weekend. He really did. I'm glad for him. Daniel Geale, well, I think he should chase a rematch. Other than that, he should really try and stay as close to the top of the pile as he can, and to keep fighting his way. He needs to stay up fighting top names. I don't think he doesn't want to go off the radar now. He wants to keep fighting, because it was a close fight, and he still proved that he's at world level. At that, he's at that level, there or thereabouts. So he needs to keep in the mix, I think, and then keep fighting top guys to stay in the mix. So anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Just big well done to Darren Barker, and let's hope for more stuff like that soon. Thanks for watching.